HVTV i New York presenteras av Lingmerts resebyrå.
What I really like about New York is no matter what time of day or what area you're in, you can just walk out on the street and there's people everywhere, which is a really comforting feeling. You know, it could be 5 in the morning and you can walk out and there's people all over the street. And I like that. You know, when I grew up in Pittsburgh, that's not the case. You know, I mean, most cities in the world, that's not the case. You know, it's just, there's a comfort and a feeling of warmth and safety everywhere you are. Never nervous in any part of the city, and that's a great feeling. And Annie feels that too. I mean, you can walk. I mean, this is just this park we're sitting in is just a random park, and there's one every 4 blocks, you know, so it's pretty nice.
Can you tell us how is your life nowadays?
It's different for sure. You know, it's work's not hockey. You know, but New York's amazing. Family life's great. We have Axel, our son's 15 months now, so he was conceived in Sweden. So he's really grown up quick, but New York's awesome. I'm working with my brother growing a business. It's not the same as playing hockey. Missed the sport for sure, but new chapter and really enjoying what I'm doing.
The business is the reason why you're here. Can you tell us about your business, you and your brothers?
Sure. I mean, I would have loved to live in New York at some point in my life, to be honest. You know, I spent a lot of time in and out of here, but never lived here. So it was good to have the opportunity with the business here to come here, you know. So the business we're working on is telecommunications sales. Basically what it is we have a couple of contracts with large telecommunication companies in the US, Verizon and Time Warner and Optimum. Verizon's a name probably that most Swedes have heard of. But so they're huge cell phone providers as well as wireline internet, which, you know, you'd buy at your home, so or your business. So I'm not sure how it works in Sweden, to be honest, but here there's multiple providers and, you know, people have the option to choose. So we employ guys that sell these products door to door. So they're actually knocking on doors of residential houses or apartments, or if they're on the business side, they're walking through Manhattan in large business buildings and trying to get people to switch their provider from one to the other, or, you know, rebundle them, reprice them, stuff like that. So we're essentially the outsourced sales force for those large companies.
HV-71 was the last club you played in, Dylan. When you came to knowledge to end your career, tell us about that.
Well, I mean, I knew that the injury I had was going to be tough to recover from. I mean, not that it wasn't recoverable. Like I think I could play. I could have played, but you know, I was 34 at the time. You know, Jonas had warned me that it's going to be tough to recover, and I trained that summer preparing to play, but my knee wasn't ready to train on, you know, so I was more rehabbing, and there was no way I would have been ready to play to start the next season. And you know, I thought that I might have to step down leagues and, you know, move to another country, and we were having Axel, and mentally after going through that, and I had the back injury the year before that in Sweden when I missed a good 20 games, and the year before that I had a torn Achilles, so it was 3 years in a row for me, and it was mentally it was hard to get over that. You know, mentally recovering from injuries is tough the older you get. You know, you just don't have the enthusiasm and knowing you got to start all over, and then potentially for us, like I said, go to a new situation. There was a huge comfort level for us at HV, you know, so that if I had to come back there, maybe it would have been a different story, but to go somewhere else just wasn't in the cards, and once my head was completely out of it, I just was ready to move on. Yeah. I went to the Rangers Devils game the other night. I saw Elias out there. Yeah. Elias is playing with Mike Haley, like one of my I lived with a guy for 2 years in Bridgeport. Yeah, like one of the tough. I mean, just he's a tough guy, you know.
Oh, okay.
Leah's on the fourth line with him. I'm laughing. I'm like, this is hilarious, you know. But he is one of the toughest pound for pound guys I have ever played with. It's just still playing. I mean, you never thought, but he's doing great. But it's funny seeing him out there with Leah's. I mean, I followed him more than I follow any other team, you know. I haven't really, you know, people ask me all the time, like, do you miss hockey? Like, are you jealous every time you watch it on TV? I really haven't watched or paid attention as much as I thought I would, and it's just because I'm so busy. I mean, and I think all players find that to a certain extent once you get into the real world of business. I mean, especially what I'm doing with my brother, because it's our own business, so we're working for ourselves. So I just feel, whenever I have a dull moment, I feel like I could be working. You know, you get what you put into it. So I just haven't had a lot of time, you know. And then between Axel and your family in New York and work, the days go by, and before you know it, it's like 20 games into the hockey season, and I've watched one game on TV, you know. So I went to the Devils-Rangers game a few nights ago, which was the first game I went to this year, and I did the New York Islanders alumni event was this weekend, which is good. But I've kind of told Annie I need to reinvest in hockey because I can foresee it being part of my future. You know, I don't know how or what, but in 10 years I could see myself working in the game at some level. So I need to stay reinvested, and I mean, I certainly look up the game scores in the standings of the SHL. You know, but I'm not actively watching games.
But you see a future in hockey?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it was all I knew for 30 years, you know? So I don't know at what level. Like I had said that when I was playing my last few years, I would love to be in management in some way, shape, or form. But you don't get there just, you know, asking for a GM job. You know, you work your way up, unless you're Chris Abbott, you know? Just kidding. So I still talk to Chris a little bit, and it's good to see Rogla do well. I root for them, of course, because of Chris. But I could foresee myself in the game, and I don't know what level. I mean, even when Axel gets old enough and starts playing, like just coaching it, even at that level, will get you more involved, and you know, it's a network like anything else, and I got a pretty large network because I played on like 12 teams in 12 years. So, and the Islanders are in the city, and I know people on the Rangers, so we'll see.
But this is the greatest city in the world. What do you do when a day off, you and your family?
You know, we spend a ton of time walking. We really do. I mean, you can walk for, I would say, I'm not even exaggerating, I'd say once a weekend we walk probably 8 kilometers just on that day, and it doesn't even feel like you've been walking for 2 hours, because the whole time you're walking, you're seeing things, you're stopping, there's food, there's things to do. So we spend a ton of time walking. We have mutual friends in the city. I got a bunch of childhood friends that live here and other friends that we've met. And there's so much to see. We never see it because we're here, but we haven't done any of the touristy stuff really until we did the Empire State Building this weekend with the Islanders, and that was amazing, just to go up top and you can really get a feel for where everything is. But yeah, biking, walking, relaxing, watching football.
When are you coming back to Kinnarps, and we'll see you in Kinnarps again? Yeah,
you will. You definitely will. I mean that. You definitely will, because we've already talked about coming back at some point. I mean, we made lifelong friends there, you know. And that was the great part of, one of the great parts about being in Jönköping. The people were so good to us, the fans and the teammates were phenomenal, and he still talks to a bunch of the girls, and we'll be back at some point. We kind of were wondering maybe we should wait till Axel's a little older so he remembers something. And maybe if we have another child, we wait for that. But we'll be back. I don't know when, but we'll be back.
HVTV i New York presenterades av Lingmerts resebyrå.